In a world where our friends call us not us united and our enemies call us midnight rain, two dudes must learn to podcast as the Fremen do in order to survive the desert planet of endless content. We don't care how many enemies we have. They'll never be prepared for us. Not us united.
You don't do bloopers?
No. Have you listened to Michael? He is a blooper.
That's just called the
Just a straight hour of bloopers.
How many episodes have been like, oh, boba-dee-ba-dee-bo?
This one?
There's no bloopers. We just keep it in. Hey, it's me, Skinny Mike and the boys.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to Skinny Mike and the Boys, a podcast hosted by me, Alan. Where did we get Skinny Mike from? I don't know.
What are you? You are on a... We're drinking decaf coffee.
Yo,
you are on cloud 9 right now.
I just love drinking coffee.
You're insane.
I'm new to coffee drinking. We're on the podcast now, I guess. Here we go.
Okay, let's talk about your new coffee thing that you've told me many times.
Yeah, but the people haven't heard.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Just let's
I just like coffee now. Anyways,
that's the stuff.
I used to not drink coffee, then I got married, and my wife brought in a coffee maker, and now I have access to coffee anytime that I want. And so it's just very easy for me to drink, and it's just like, it's fun to brew up in the morning, and you just sit there, and it goes, and then you just sip on it while you're reading, and then you're just ready for the day.
I'm still pretty upset just because I drink lots of coffee, and like could have told you that.
Yeah, but
so many times.
You didn't marry me, Nick, so.
That's fair. That's fair.
Shoutouts to my wife.
It'd be interesting to see how many hours you've been married and how many hours we've recorded and see who's still winning right now.
I think just because we've only been married for 2 months.
It's probably pretty close.
It's probably pretty close.
We'll have to do the math. Anyway.
Well, you know what is a different form of covenantal combination of love? This podcast.
You're right.
And with us this week, our dear friend. We don't cut anything out. This is the bar you have to achieve, Aaron, which
it's
is
just Michael
minimal.
making me uncomfortable and me being uncomfortable every week.
We have our friend Aaron on the podcast. Why don't you give the little hello to everybody?
Hello.
Hey, there he is.
I was a little surprised that you had started. It was just
we just kind of go into it.
Yeah.
You got to give people that like. I think I said this on the last episode or 2 episodes, but when people are like, click play, but they're backing out of their driveway or something, you need to just do the mindless stuff to get them into the episode, and then once they're in,
I think that's fair.
like right now.
Then you can say,
for me.
welcome to Not Us United. We're a podcast that exists to see cinema a little differently. We find the good, the bad, and the weird. And every... dude, I'm trying to be professional here, and someone's stopping
you're doing
me.
great.
Someone's stopping me.
No, you're like, it's just, you're so like, you're moving. I feel like you're Barry Allen right now. Like, you're moving through time faster than I am. And so, like, I'm, like, still on this thought. And you're like, and welcome to Not Us United, everybody. So I'm just like, I'm there. I'm there now.
Okay, I'll slow down.
But you're doing great. And with us this week, you already said it's Aaron.
Yeah. I'm like 6 miles ahead of you.
Yeah, we already did it.
Okay.
Perfect. What are we doing this episode? Should I say, or do you want to?
I think Aaron should say what we're doing this episode.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Oh,
Aaron,
my gosh.
What are we doing? It's okay.
We're going to talk about the show Ted Lasso.
Oh, good. He said it right.
That is true.
How can you say it wrong?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I just thought you were going to say something else. So I was like, oh, we're doing Wakanda forever. Oh.
We'll all have to pivot.
Tricked you.
Yeah, so this is the first episode we've ever done where it's a TV show that we love, right? We've only done movies we've loved.
Yes, I don't think we talked about a full TV show.
Yeah.
So,
we're kind of gearing up because
you're special,
2020.
Well,
Aaron.
I'm glad I could bring that
energy.
new element to the show.
Let's go.
Oh
yeah,
my
this
gosh.
this is the birth of this type of episode.
Yeah.
Season 3 is about to drop.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have an official. Did you say 2023 something? March?
I think it's supposed to be like in the spring.
Okay.
There's a new show on Apple TV coming out in January that I don't think they wanted to
Step on.
superimpose. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so it's sometime this year, so we thought perfect time to talk about a show that we all like a lot, I think.
Oh, we'll
I
see.
haven't officially asked you.
We'll
but
see.
Some of us love the show at least. Hopefully all of us do. We'll see. But we're going to talk about the first 2 seasons of Ted Lasso.
Yep.
Spoilers and all.
This isn't even a review. It's just us talking about it.
Yeah, I think we'll just do a general talk of the show, and so I guess this would be a spoiler warning for Ted Lasso as a whole.
Yeah.
I think maybe we could say like general thoughts of like, do we like the show? Would we recommend it to people?
Yeah.
And then we can dive into like some of the all spoilers. Anything's up for grabs.
Sure. Okay.
So Aaron, what do you think of this show? Just a general overview of like, did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Were you surprised by it?
Yeah, I've probably watched it about 4 or 5 times
Wow.
through. Yeah, on a pretty regular basis.
Mhm.
So I've really enjoyed it, and it's opened up a new world of love for the sport of soccer,
Ooh, we
That
can
is
get
which
into
has
that.
been like a really cool, side effect, I suppose
Yeah.
you could say.
Mm.
So I have like suggested it to quite a few people
Mhm.
when we talk about shows to watch.
Now, is that like normal for you to just rewatch shows, or is it like you watch a show and you're kind of done with it? So is this Ted Lasso like I love it so much that I rewatch it all the time, and that's pretty unique?
No, I mean, I have my list of shows
Yeah.
that I'll rewatch through, like to have in the background
Mhm.
and stuff.
Mm.
But Ted Lasso has been added to that
Nice.
list, so
Perfect.
yeah, it's not an uncommon thing
Okay.
for me to rewatch a show.
Okay.
But
I'm trying to remember if you actually led me to Ted Lasso. I can't remember.
The Fountain of Lasso,
Who it might have been.
probably.
Because Kate and I didn't watch it until I think Christmas last year. And so I think both seasons had already been out. So I
Okay.
was able to just watch them
Yeah.
all. And so it could have been also that I was just hearing like everyone was like, Ted Lasso,
Yeah.
it's so good. Everyone is like the weekly, when it's out, everyone was talking about it. And so I was like, all right, in order to stay hip and cool, I guess I'm going to have to dive into
Well,
this
guess
show
what,
too.
Nick?
And
You're
guess
doing a
what?
great job
Your
at
boy's
that.
still hip and cool.
yeah, you are.
Super good show. So
Yeah.
thank you if you did recommend it. I don't remember if you did, but
I don't know if
let's
I
say-
should take
let's
the
say Aaron
credit,
did.
but
Let's say Aaron
for the legend of this story,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Michael? Skinny Mike.
Well, I'm gonna be a
Skinny Mike
controversial
on
opinion
the fat
here.
Mike, I should
Yeah,
say.
yeah. Big Mike for Big Mike. I'm a controversial opinion that I love this show.
Controversial in that you love it more than anyone else.
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
Okay.
Who knows what I'm saying? I came to it. It's actually kind of unique in that like this was the show that I would always watch at someone else's place
Oh,
because I didn't own Apple TV, and so like the people that I would like dog sit for every once in a while, like they had Apple TV, and so I'm like, oh, I'll watch Ted Lasso, and this was like right before the second season came out, so I watched the first season, and then like I stopped, and then the second season came out, and then I dog sat for them again, and I watched like half of the second season.
That's right.
And then
Yeah.
like I didn't dog set
Forgot about that.
for them for a while, so like I haven't been able to like go back and watch
Oh my
like the last
gosh.
like 4 or 5 episodes.
Mhm.
And then I was able to basically because of this podcast to be like, okay, now I need to like go back and watch it. And luckily, shout out to my father-in-law Adam for his Apple TV subscription.
Yeah.
And we were able to watch that all the way through and finished it today. So
Oh, super
hot,
fresh.
much like this coffee, hot and fresh
Yes.
off the pipe.
Nice. We are drinking some nice decaf.
Yeah.
Not to get too wild, but
Yeah.
apparently there's some caffeine in Michael's for some reason today.
But I put like what's in there? The
A little cream.
Oh,
yeah,
probably,
little,
yeah.
little
Little
cream.
vanilla, yeah.
a little cream and cream.
Fair enough.
Nick, what is your take on Ted Lasso?
Well,
Theodore.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
I also love the show, so
Oh,
I'm
good. Controversial.
feeling glad that we all three love this show. I would say that this isn't like, there's like some shows that like dethrone others in your life.
Sure.
Like, you have your Offices and your Parks and Rec, and everyone has to like pick their one favorite, whatever. I feel like this one is as good as those like Hall of Fame shows, but there's so much more depth to what they do
Yeah.
in it, that it's honestly like one of my favorite shows of all time. Like it's
Yeah.
super good.
Yeah.
And in fact, like just having a casual conversation before this podcast with my wife upstairs, we might just go ahead and rewatch it because we're just that excited after knowing that we're going to be talking about it.
So
today.
when was the last time you watched it?
A year ago.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay. So you're not super fresh coming in.
So I'm not like super fresh, but everything that's been mentioned, I'm like, yep, I got it. And there's some crazy character arcs in the show that just like have stayed with me because they're just so good.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to talk about it. But I'm also going to be the like most removed.
Sure.
So I'm gonna have like the birds or
The big.
I'm
picture.
looking at the forest.
Yeah.
While you guys are looking at the trees.
Oh, I'm in there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I think it was a good point about like comparing it to The Office and Parks and Rec. I think maybe it's just time and maybe it was popularity. Like I've been soured, especially on The Office, because I'm like, oh, The Office was great, and then like I heard like a billion quotes from The Office, and I'm kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. The Office is good, and then but I think that the characters get so much more play in this show than like an Office and a Parks and Rec that took like 3 seasons to really be like, oh, this is your motivation. Where like this one's like we understand like right away what people are going through, and it's like, especially with the turn to season 2, kind of more dramatic, kind of more like intentional about like what's kind of character development, and it's just like I think it's just heartfelt. I think I'm going to say that a billion times during this.
Oh, for sure.
This
100%.
episode, it's just a heartfelt show.
That's why it spreads by word of mouth
Yeah.
the way that it does. Is people watch the show because they heard about it, and then they tell people about it because they love it. Like there's something that happens when watching it where you're like, oh wow, that's such a special. Did not see that coming, or like I think I was telling Aaron this upstairs, but it's just like there's just parts where this could have just stayed the funny comedy like sitcom and just be lighthearted, and it is that sometimes. But then it gets incredibly real, like very real, and it does it in such a way that it's wild that a comedy can do those types of things. So that's why it's so special.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Cool. Let's move into now officially saying spoilers for either season 1 or season 2 of Ted Lasso. So if you have not seen all of Ted Lasso, go ahead and pause and just watch all that and then come back.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
He has a mustache.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Let's
Season
get
2 when he
that-
shaves it off.
Let's
Whoa.
just get this out of the way. No, he doesn't. Don't spoil it.
What if you just forgot about it?
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
I also love that this show has Mumford and Sons.
Oh yeah. Intro.
Like at first, when I think I listened to what were we gonna do?
We could have sung the intro to start the episode.
Heaven knows I tried.
Heaven knows I tried.
I think I watched like 5 episodes and I was like, man, why does this
Song
theme
slap.
song like sound so familiar? Because Mumford and Sons is like my favorite band, and I'm like, this sounds so familiar. And then I just looked up and it's like, yeah, they did it. They did the theme song. I was like, what? This is wild. I didn't know that they did that. So very
And
special
a lot of
to
the
me.
music.
Yeah,
Every once in a while, I'd be like,
yeah.
oh,
And
this is
yeah, there was like a part where Ted has like a really serious moment, and I think they play like one of their like songs from their newest album or something. I'm just like, oh my god, this is wild.
yeah, that's awesome.
So good. Sorry,
No, yeah,
I'm on fire.
yeah. You calling me out?
I'm Barry Allen right now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I wanted to ask Aaron, what necessarily drew you to the show in the first place? Like, why this show?
That's a good question.
That's an excellent question.
Wow,
and
thank you.
I first want to say this is very strange for me because I feel like I'm just listening to your podcast and so interjecting with my own stuff. I'm not thinking
it's
about
like
because
3D podcast.
Yeah, just pretend like you're talking to us
just
in the
watching
car.
podcast
yeah.
live right now. Yeah. But I think when I first watched it, I think I got like a free trial from Apple TV,
Okay.
and I had never flipped through any of the shows, and I was like, I was a fan of, excuse me, Jason Sudeikis when he was on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, for sure.
And a lot of the characters that he played, and so knowing that he was kind of a big part of the show,
Yeah.
I was like, I'll give this a try. And like first episode, it was like,
Fuck yeah.
this is really, really cool. And so I just stuck along for the ride and watched the whole thing. I think when I first watched it, I don't know when season 2 came out, but it was probably a year ago.
Sometime last year, yeah.
A year and a half ago, maybe. But I was, as soon as I started watching it, I was just in there. So
Nice.
I think that thanks to Apple TV for
Yeah.
the free, I think I got an iPhone or something. And so they were like,
Great.
yeah,
Now your life has changed.
free subscription. And I was like, cool.
Mhm.
And now I still have Apple TV Plus because
Good stuff on there.
Yeah.
Cool.
For sure. Yeah, I think we we held off on it because like it was every 3 months a show would come out. So we're like, do we want to keep this? Because at first it was like kind of a slow content roll. But I kept hearing about Ted Lasso, and then I was just stuck behind the wall of Apple TV, and so then we finally got it, and then we watched some great shows on top of Ted Lasso. So Apple TV is kind of like, I don't know, seems like they don't make a lot of things, but what they make seem to be really
solid.
good.
Yeah,
very good.
Kind of compared to like an HBO Max or HBO or like where HBO used to kind of be a few years ago, where it's like we make one thing every few months, but it's really good.
Yeah, for sure. And we're about to talk about one of them soon, someday, The Last of Us. But
my gosh,
we won't do it here. But that's for sure going to be talked about.
That's definitely
going to
be talked about.
Like, there's not even if Michael doesn't show up, it's going to be a podcast.
Nick will talk about it with himself.
I'll talk about it by myself.
That'll be your second TV show.
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah. Okay, so general thoughts about maybe season 1. What maybe like was your favorite character, like a favorite moment from the season, anything that kind of like shot out right off the bat from there?
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
You can go first.
Perfect. Classic Aaron answer. The only logical choice for favorite character of season 1 of Ted Lasso is Roy Kent.
Okay, good. We can agree on that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Anyone can.
I mean, it's
like
a solid choice. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Roy Kent is out of this world. I need to look up who plays him. Because
Roy Kent.
Well, that's true.
Right.
I mean, he will forever be Roy Kent.
Goldstein, something.
Oh,
Brett,
yeah.
Brett,
Yes.
something
Yeah.
Goldstein.
That sounds familiar.
That is probably.
He won an Emmy for
Wow.
playing Roy Kent.
Wow, look at
Maybe
that.
2 years. Maybe 2 years in a row.
Dang, look at this guy bringing in facts.
Brett Goldstein.
I tried to do a little bit of research before jumping on here, just so I was like, I have
Prepared.
something to talk about. You know?
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, like
Brett Goldstein.
This guy's an actor. Like, he's done some stuff. But like, hear me out. Hold on. Let me finish the sentence.
Wait.
My point was, he does Ted Lasso, and now it's just like, he's in Thor: Love and Thunder, and he's in like all these things. So like, dude's performance, like in Ted Lasso was insane. So, but I think my favorite like moment was, and this is gonna sound weird, but I think like the part when Ted Lasso first has like his panic attack was for me when the show shifted from, oh, this isn't trying to just make me laugh, this is trying to hit every area and like say something about it.
Sure.
And I was like, this is going to be a show that's going to simultaneously be talking about issues and being a silly comedy about soccer.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of like flipped the switch for me from like, this is really good writing to, oh, no, this is going to be like a really good show. And that for me, I think was just really stellar. And I think it's cool when they make like protagonists, these broken characters that feel more real, rather than just kind of the one trick pony of like, I'm the coach who just is super positive.
Sure.
And it's like, yeah, but that's because he's hiding behind fear and other emotions.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the perfect like home life, but he's got to try his best to make the perfect like coaching life. And it's just this really cool duality. And so that's for me what like brought it home. But the other stuff that's just super fun, like all the comedy and some of the characters, just like I said, like Roy Kent's just entire arc is just hilarious because he's the guy who knows he needs to quit, but doesn't want to quit because he doesn't want to be seen as weak. But like how that can actually make him stronger. It's really awesome writing. So anyway, that's what
I think it's just written very real and just very much like there's like, especially like with the conflict in kind of season 1 with like Rebecca like hiring Ted and like but basically having him fail, and then like that's confronted to Ted and he's like, okay, I forgive you. And there's not like a whole like 3 episodes where like it takes them to like resolve or like there's like this drama. It's just like, all right, I forgive you, that's okay. And it just feels like, holy cow, like that was just, it's just like feels very, everything just feels like so mature and well done, of just like people just handling issues in positive ways, taking negative things and like being like, that's okay. We can do this, and moving forward with it. And I think that was something that season 1 did very well for me, and that's why I think I love season 1 a lot more than season 2. But where it did take into like the more drama aspect, I'm like, okay, this is different. But I think some of that hope wasn't quite there for me. Anyways.
I think they got into a lot more real stuff.
Yeah.
Just with bringing on Field or the
counselor.
therapist, and they had to dig into a lot more stuff, and so it was a little bit more intensive in the second season.
Sure.
Which kind of led to a lot of that, but I should have gone first because that was a lot of what I was saying. You took all the words.
Now I'm starting to think, he still had his panic attack in the first season.
Yeah,
right?
when they were doing karaoke.
Oh, that's right.
That is first
That's
season.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. I forgot about the karaoke one.
That's what I was thinking of.
So that was kind of even before. I think that was before Rebecca had even come clean.
Yeah,
about
that
what she was doing.
Yeah.
But it was kind of the first moment I thought too in that show where Ted went through that panic attack, and then she kind of came to him and comforted him,
and then they had
and went through that, and it was kind of a hard moment to see, because you're like, but she's doing all this stuff to kind of sabotage his career and everything. But it was the first moment where she kind of saw him as like a person instead of a thing to exploit. Like she was trying to exploit him for like ruining the club, but it like turned him into a human for her at that moment. And so I think that was a pretty big
that's cool
too. Yeah,
for sure. No, I was trying to think, because for some reason I remember season 2 tackling a lot more of the stuff, but I was like, no, there was a part in season 1 where I was like, oh wait, this is not just Jason Sudeikis dancing like a fool.
Yeah,
this is it, baby.
Yeah,
they're doing the thing.
Yeah, which they entirely props to them, because they could have just been like, haha, Jason Sudeikis is just a funny guy, and here's the funny.
Yeah, here's his mustache and his white shoes, and he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, and they did some promos like years ago, 2 years ago maybe, or 3 years ago, where they were just doing it was like a funny bit for Ted or for Jason Sudeikis, was just pretending to be a coach for like an actual Premier League team, like he got the job. Nice. And so on YouTube there's some clips of him. It's like kind of, I think it's like 4 or 5 years before.
Yeah, it's like an ESPN like skit show that like
it's like a skit show.
It was a skit character. They're like, we could actually make a show about this.
Yeah, and I think it was like this is gonna be super funny. And then as they thought about it, they were like, yeah, this is actually a pretty good idea. And so
that's really interesting.
It evolved a little bit, because it's not Jason Sudeikis being that Ted Lasso is a little bit different in the promos, but
sure.
I think it evolved into something that's quite a bit more.
It's not canon,
significant. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
All this fancy lingo.
Yeah.
But like the show's whole premise starts off with him being like he wins like one of the lowest college football in America, and then just all of a sudden gets asked to be a Premier League coach, and it's just funny because like he thinks it's completely genuine. Like that's how innocent in his mind like he is. He's like, hey, this is just and it feels very like this is such a TV concept, but they do such a good job of making it real life that you can make some bizarre scenario like this good. You know, like it just, the whole premise of itself sounds so fictional that it's like, how could this even be taken seriously? And I think it's kind of similar to like when you tell people like, hey, John Wick's good, and they're like, why? What happens in John Wick? Well, this guy's dog dies, and they're like, oh, well, that doesn't sound like a good movie.
No, wait.
They're like, no, hear me out. It's like if you just sold the show as like a college American football coach of like D3 gets to go to the Premier League to coach like, well, we can actually say some teams now because we're fans of the Premier League. But we could
coaches
say
against Man City.
Could be the coach of Man City, fill in the blank, Liverpool perhaps, or I don't know.
I don't think Liverpool is ever mentioned, or Arsenal is never
they
mentioned.
play Arsenal at one point.
Do they?
Yeah, it's very brief. Yeah,
that's because
they mentioned
season 3, baby.
Maybe
Jurgen Klopp's coming. I can feel
You're gonna get clopped.
Yep. That would have been perfect. Like at the end, if he like went.
He's like the villain. It's just like.
Oh, this has been so good.
So I think that's something we can talk about too. Is like this definitely sparked an interest for all of us, and honestly, changed our lives in a certain way. Of like we were all like tentative, like we were interested in getting into like some English Premier League soccer, but this was kind of like, okay, we all want to do this. Let's all pick teams. And let's all watch soccer. Like football, if you will.
We did it in a very unorthodox way. We just said, "Hey, let's do it," and then we're like, "Yeah."
Mm-hmm.
Like there wasn't some cool story where it was like we were in this local pub and these 3 drunk guys were like, "You should cheer for soccer." And we're like, "Okay, we're in."
You're talking about my story?
Oh, that is your story. Sorry.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
That's
But
how I came in an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, but the 3 of us, it was just very clinical. It was just very like, "Hey, I would like to become a fan of a new hobby."
Yeah.
And we're like, "I would also like to partake in said hobby." And it was just very mature.
Yeah, it was just genuine to be like,
Yeah.
and it was just like also helpful to be like, you guys wanted to do it. And I'm like, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. And I'm just like, oh, so let's be fans. Like,
Yeah.
okay, now we can all be fans. And we have to do it at some point. We don't live there. It's not like we're
Yeah.
going to like move
We
there
just-
and like
we
become fans or
finally-
whatever. So we
Season
had to,
tickets.
yeah.
We have to become fans.
We had
And
to
so
go
we
for
did.
fans. Yeah.
Well, I thank Ted Lasso for that because it
For
really
sure.
sparked an interest in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because it seems like they did their research. I mean, like, AFC Richmond feels pretty authentic. And I'm wondering, too, like, I almost kind of want to go back and watch it now, having, like been a part of, like, cheering the Premier League for so
Yeah.
long, to see if I caught more of, like, oh, okay, this coach and that, like, the ins and outs of, like, management and stuff like that. But,
Just basically like, I mean, like they just mentioned teams like they play Man City, they get relegated, and then season 1 by Man City, and then they play Man City again in the FA Cup, and I'm like,
And
I
get
know what the FA
rocked.
Cup is, yeah, and they get smoked,
and now we know what the
Yeah.
FA Cup is.
because it's like, oh wait, no, the season didn't matter because like they played in the separate cup that's a separate tournament from the regular season, and so it's like, oh wait, we know what that is, and our teams are gonna play in the FA Cup here pretty
Next
soon.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Next week. Next Saturday.
Arsenal, Man City, so
Next Friday. Right?
something like that, yeah.
let's go.
My so it
team
was
will be
like-
in Liverpool, where they won't be playing. the game. But anyway, continue.
It is cool to like watch it after getting into, and I'm like, oh wait, I like this world. I know what's going on now. Just made me want to watch more soccer. So
Yeah.
great.
It gets you pretty fired up for
Yeah.
soccer. Just
For the longest time, I always would say, like, I respect soccer players, but, like, because no one else would watch it with me, I just never, like, watched the games.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, these guys are some of the best athletes. It's like they're running
Forever.
a 10K,
Yeah.
but they also have to kick a ball, and they have to do that for, like, 90 minutes straight.
Mhm.
It's like, this is just, it's such a crazy sport. But because they don't score all the time, America's like, boo, boo,
Yeah.
boo. We want people to have concussions, boo. It's like, I don't
Yikes.
understand what's going on. Like,
But it's turned out to be like one of the most exciting sports I've seen. Like it's just
Correct.
like anything can happen.
no, well, for
It's
sure.
incredible.
Well, I watched. I mean, the NFL playoffs are going on right
Yeah.
now, and so last weekend I flipped on a few games. I was like, "This is taking forever. It's a commercial every
That's so
5
true,
minutes.
yeah.
This is nuts." And
No.
so soccer, you're just
So
like,
clean. 45 minutes.
45
on
Just
it.
minutes, you're
running
gone,
on
yeah.
that, like, they run all their ads on that little,
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
conveyor belt LED
and they're,
scroll thing.
they're all decked out in
Yeah.
advertisements, but
It's
Yeah, which
great.
I
part of
didn't, I thought was going to be way more stupid, but for the
It's
most
really-
part, all looks good.
You
still.
kind of
Oh, yeah,
ignore it
totally.
almost.
I mean, like, we do it for NASCAR, and they wear just whole-on jackets. So it's
Yeah,
like, it's
sure.
fine.
that's very true. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the
fine.
cars are just
America, you can do this.
Yeah.
Come on.
But anyways, just I want to talk about our love for
Yeah,
the
we
English
got to.
Premier League.
We got to.
I think Ted Lasso, coupled with Ted Lasso and the World Cup that just happened, I think those two things together are going to spark a little bit more of an interest of football,
I think
of
in the
uh,
general
of
American
soccer
public, yeah.
general America,
Sorry, you soccer. We have to translate to the
European football.
Sorry. Football.
Yeah.
Sorry.
football is life.
Football is life, man.
But I don't think you ever answered, Aaron, your favorite character.
Yeah, you dodged it.
Oof, yeah.
Professional.
And why is
I'm
it
pretty
Danny
good at doing
Rojas?
that. Yeah. I mean, Danny Rojas.
Danny-
I'm going to
Danny
answer your
Rojas.
question by asking you a question.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the character that everybody likes to watch is Ted Lasso,
Sure. Yeah.
and to have just to watch him be as inspirational as he is, and to change hearts of his teammates, or like the people that play, and just the way he goes about coaching is a great example for I think a lot of people, and so he's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
But I did have the question of which character are you most like?
Oh.
And-
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the character I most like is Higgins.
Aww.
That's the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
So,
It's so humble.
My man.
but just I mean, he's got the family and
Yeah.
he just likes his job.
Correct.
And he's kind of he is the character where he just does what he's supposed to, like he just
Mhm.
follows a job. But in the moment when he like we're still kind of in the moment when Rebecca is trying to sabotage everything.
Yeah.
And it seems like she's maybe building a relationship with Ted Lasso, and then finally she's like, Higgins, you need to I think it was like sell tickets to the opposing team or something like that, and Higgins just kind of blows up at her and is like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He uses some expletives and like storms out and quits. And I was like,
And it's like,
that's
yeah,
kind
let's
of the
go.
way I do things is
Yeah.
you just kind of let stuff fester, like I don't know,
Mhm.
boil up for a little bit, and then finally it's like, okay,
No.
this isn't right. You're not doing
Mhm.
the right thing. We need to change course. So I feel like I'm
That's cool.
pretty
It's a great
Higginsy
moment.
in my
Mhm.
style. I wish I could say Ted Lasso. Like I wish I was just like, I'm gonna inspire
Yeah.
people to be the best
Mhm.
version of themselves, but that's
Yeah.
I don't know. Higgins.
I
is
mean, like, we
definitely
all kind of aspire to be. At least I also aspire to be Ted Lasso. It's just like he just
sure.
like
Yeah.
he just makes everyone feel like $1,000,000. Like he's just like he's just so genuine. He's just so like, oh man, you're just like quick-witted, funny, silly, and just like welcoming. It's like,
Mhm.
oh man, you wish you were Ted.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's a good question.
Chris or Nick, who are you most like, and why is it Roy Kent?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's obviously Roy Kent.
What?
yeah.
You guys think I'm like Roy
You're
Kent?
as handsome as Roy Kent.
Oh, there you go. I suppose looks is a fair game.
I don't know how to take what you guys just said because it's like very much a compliment. But he also says like the
Yeah.
F word all the time. So I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna say like there's parts of like Nate's story that I kind of relate to as well.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Not more.
Not
than
season
the-
2.
not
Season 1,
two,
Nate.
but-
Yeah.
Season 1, Nate's good,
um,
Nate. Yeah.
But I can see like why those things turn into what they do in season 2.
Mhm.
So he's very much the guy that just like kind of goes well, but I'm not like that. I'm not like the guy who goes unseen. I make sure
I think
I'm seen.
he's way too timid for
Yeah.
who you
I
are. Like
agree.
he could barely like
Yeah, you're right.
ask someone to get a
Just
different
like
table.
the idea of him like overseeing and then like calling like an amazing play.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how I tend to like stay back and like just look at stuff
Mm-hmm.
and then go, "Hey, here's what I think would
Yeah.
be the best."
And then
Option.
it ends up being perfect.
Yeah.
And it's like, Nick, why didn't you speak up sooner?
Yeah,
So,
come on. Why you goated?
So yeah, you're right. I'm Jamie Tart. I'm the best.
I was gonna say that. That was my joke.
I'm just the goat. You're right.
Let's go.
No, I'm not Jamie Tart at all. I don't know who I am.
I think you could be the Bruiser. You can be Roy Kent
Okay, sure.
without all the cussing.
I could see. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I do scrap like when I play.
Yeah, you're a
sports, I
scrappy
scrap.
guy.
Yeah.
I think play style wise.
Yeah. I just kind of like run like a
A
wall.
brick wall, and also you have like a bear on your chest. That's
Fair enough.
yeah, okay.
All right, now finally to Skinny Mike.
Well, you stole my Jimmy Tart joke, so that's a bummer.
You're not Jamie Tart.
Man, let's see. I might have to go Higgins as well, just because it's like passive, but also like sweet,
Yeah.
and like
oh yeah.
just like he loves his family. and
You're
it's just
Danny
like,
Rojas.
okay,
I
actually,
was
changed.
actually
I
gonna
changed
say
all my
Danny
mind.
Rojas, yeah.
Or maybe I am Danny Rojas.
Because
Thank
you're
you.
still sweet, but you say a lot of Spanish stuff sometimes.
Good. I will take Danny Rojas.
And you're happy a lot.
And I murder
happy
a
all the time.
greyhound. Cool.
Come
Football
on.
is life.
You murder a greyhound.
Football is life.
No,
Football
but
is
like
life.
that's perfect. You would never hurt a dog in your life,
Mm.
but you might do something silly enough that could wind up
Yeah.
hurting a dog. You
And
know
I
what
would
mean?
cry in the shower for a day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're Danny Rojas.
Cool. I will take Danny Rojas any day of the week.
Yeah.
Cool. I need
This turned out great.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah. What happens when Roy Kent, Danny Rojas, and Higgins walk into a bar?
Mm,
Football is life. That's
good
what happens.
stuff. Yeah.
I wonder if like 10 years from now, just like if I will be that guy who like sits down and just goes like just growls and like I don't know. I definitely sigh a lot more. Like after being like turning 30,
Mm.
I do that thing like where I'll wake up and I go I'm just, like I don't know why I think it's gonna help, but I'm always just like All right, let's do this.
The day can start.
It's like
Yeah.
revving the engine a little bit.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like priming the wheels. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, this show's just awesome because like it's full of just amazing characters. Now that I'm like thinking through, I'm like, oh wow, there's still like 6 that we didn't even talk about.
Yeah.
That, like we could like dive deeper into and stuff. And so I just
Well, the crazy thing about the show is that each character has so much development.
Yeah.
Each
Yeah.
season, like they just, and it's even some of the more minor characters. Like Higgins still has growth that you
Mhm.
see in season 1 and
Mhm.
season 2, and I'm trying to like Keeley.
Yeah.
Keeley.
Yes, I love you,
Kayla.
Kayla.
Jamie
Oh,
Tart.
what's up,
Yeah.
Kayla?
Keeley. Like she has some really cool.
She's-
Just everybody has a cool moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it's true.
I mean, I think Rebecca gets a lot of growth as well. Like
100%,
huge,
yeah.
huge growth.
I think
Um,
that's what makes it so good though is if every character matters, you can't
Yes.
go into the next episode knowing what's going to happen
Yes.
because it could change. It could be
Mhm.
like, wait, Daniel Rojas is about to be the pivotal character of this episode, and you're like, oh,
Great,
well, if the
sign me
last
up.
3 didn't set that up, so okay, that's interesting. So like
Mhm.
it keeps it fresh. I feel like, and is not willing to like. It's taking its time
Mm-hmm.
and letting us like actually hang out with the characters a little bit. So it's nice.
Yeah. I think
I
that's
like it.
great.
What were you gonna say? Sorry, I think I interrupted you.
No, yeah, just never interrupt me again.
Okay. Very Dana Rojas.
What?
of you.
No,
Yeah.
football is life.
That was
Maybe-
kind of
maybe
more.
you are, Nate.
Yeah.
Oh no, no. I wanted to bring up Sam Obasanya,
Mm.
Yes.
one of my favorite characters.
Very cool.
I think he does have a growth, and I think one of my favorite episodes is the airline episode with the
Yes.
oil
so
reserves.
now we have officially
Oh,
been
yeah.
to.
Sure.
We're in season 2.
Let's go into
So
season
we're
2.
fine. No.
Yeah.
I'm just
Is that
Yeah.
season
making
2?
sure
That
everyone
is-
knows.
that is season 2.
Okay.
Yes, the first few episodes.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, I think they just handle that so well. And
For
also
sure.
just like probably a dig at like other airlines. Just I mean like that happens in real life.
Mhm.
That's a real life
Oh,
issue
that's- yeah.
that happens. And so like I was just really for that whole entire just mantra and just like him standing up to that for like his country. I thought was really, really cool. And then like the team like taping over the airline company over their kits.
Wow. Let's go. We watch soccer.
Dipping into that knowledge.
After
reserve.
they
Yeah.
take their boots onto the field. Oh no, it's pitch on the pitch.
On the pitch. That's right.
Yeah. Anyways.
They wear their Sublime outfits.
Yeah.
Their
Sublime.
kits.
And so I think probably one of my favorite episodes.
Well, and that was a big
Interesting.
moment too with the relationship between Obasanya and Jamie Tart,
Yeah.
because he was the first one, other than other players from
Nigerians,
Africa,
yeah.
that like reached out for the tape too.
Yeah.
And so that was also a really cool moment for both Sam and
Yeah.
Jamie,
That's a good
because
point.
there was not really an opportunity for Jamie to make amends
Yeah.
with Sam, just based on all the
Getting
season
back,
1
yeah.
stuff. So that was really cool.
Mhm.
That was a really cool moment, just in
Mhm.
general, to
Dang.
watch in the show. I
Mhm.
mean, you could take it episode by
Yeah.
episode and be like, this moment was amazing. It made
Yeah.
me cry.
Yeah, there's got to be a Ted Lasso like podcast that just goes weekly.
And this is it.
Figures it. Well, are we doing it? Are we
Let's
doing
go.
it?
I mean, I could spend hours.
Yeah.
No, but that's like a good catch. Like, with Jamie doing that, and
Yeah.
I don't know. You're just making me believe and believe.
Believe.
You know what I mean?
Believe.
Let's go.
If we're in season 2, I've got to talk about the episode.
Sure.
Controversial.
Give it to me.
I am a personal fan of Coach Beard just doing his thing for 45 minutes. It's sublime.
Sublime.
Ooh.
I love it so much.
It's fun to watch this unfold. Like, I always have to just watch and just assume I know what's going on.
Yeah.
But to see Michael, like, shake his face or, like, shake his head and be like,
Yeah.
I disagree with you
You
so
get
much.
4D.
You get more.
Normally, I have to wait until you get to talk about why you
Mhm.
disagree, but I get to watch it.
So Aaron made a great point. There's like in episode 1 or 2 of season 1, Ted Lasso asks Beard, "Hey, when did you get in last night?" He goes, "Oh, I didn't." Like he just stayed up.
It was
Yeah.
a very passive thing.
Literally
Yeah.
just
Huh.
showed up
Yeah.
out of nowhere and just showed up to their meeting. Like he never went to sleep. And so like this guy is wild. And they just briefly touch on it. He'll just say something bizarre he'll say something like
Just little moments.
Yeah.
he has no need to speak more than what needs to be said. And then you have this episode where just all of this unfolds, and it's just this wonderland of weird, like, shenanigans that this guy is getting into. But it's brilliant because there's little things like that where you don't have the context for what's behind that line. And so when you finally just get one episode where it's like he's just clubbing in like an underground cathedral with like people, I was like, this guy is awesome. I just love Beard. Like, I would say, I can't say that he's like my favorite because I just don't think we spend enough time with him. But man, what a dark horse!
I think he's perfect for what he is.
I love
like
that.
He has like some of the best lines every once in a while. It's like, oh, here's like a one liner where it's like, man, that was great, and just like, in also respect, I want to be Ted, but also other respects, I want to be Beer, which was like,
oh yeah,
man, a few words, but when he says something, it's like,
it's important.
Perfect.
Yeah, for sure. But I just had to say that episode, I don't hear a lot of people say they like it.
Yeah, because it's straight hot
Especially
garbage.
Michael,
Anyway,
for some reason. So anyway, you're the one who respects, art and stuff, and that was art.
I respect good art. I can respect that episode because it is funny and it is
Don't
like
backpedal.
No, hold on.
No,
hold on.
Dig in.
Hold
Let's
on.
do this.
Hold on.
We got Aaron here. He's not gonna let us fight
The
each
great
other.
mediator.
No, I respect the idea of that episode, but it is cool to be like when he says something weird, we can be like, oh, we know an idea of where that was and what was happening there. Don't look at me like that. I just felt like it was just like unnecessary. Whereas something
Aaron.
like no, hold on. Sorry, Aaron. Give me one more second. Something like the Christmas episode was completely necessary to me because I felt like it developed more. Where the Beard episode was fun, but I would watch it again. But in the grand scheme of Ted Lasso, it's probably one of my least favorite episodes.
Wow. Okay. Well, you're wrong.
Aaron, what do you think?
I think you both make excellent.
I'm
just kidding. I think of the few times that I have rewatched Ted Lasso, there have been moments where I'm like, I don't really have to watch this one because you're right, it doesn't move things forward.
Sure.
But I always end up watching it because it's still a good episode. Like you're not really, you're getting background on Beard, which and Beard and his relationship with Jane. And I think another really cool thing about that episode is when he joins up with the three guys that are always in the pub. I don't remember their names.
The random guys.
The three guys
Richmond
that are kind of in the whole show because they're watching the games in the pub.
They're us.
Yeah.
They're literally
There
us.
you go.
They are us.
I don't know. That's very true. But I like that they work those three in and kind of bring like they're in that episode.
Yeah,
a lot
that was
more
nice.
than they are
Don't
in
give me
other
that look.
episodes. And so
Can't wait for Michael to change his mind in 2 minutes.
Oh,
It's
he
gonna be
will.
Awesome. I know.
So I like that kind of Beard goes off and does all this stuff, but then you're also bringing in kind of seemingly minor characters that really, why would they have to include more stuff about three guys that are just, they kind of fill their spot sitting in the pub and cheering and doing the chants and stuff. And so it was cool to add them into it and them having almost like the ultimate fan experience at the end of it, getting to go into the stadium and getting to, do all the stuff that they, because, obviously they're not in the stadium every game because they, I don't know if they,
Right.
whatever.
We've never even seen them in the stadium, I don't think. Yeah.
And so they kind of, I don't know, it's just a cool part of that episode when they get to go into the stadium and experience all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's always like, yes, it's the Beard episode because it's all about him, but there's still other stuff in there that I'm like, I'm really glad that I got to watch that and see development for characters that don't even, or like wouldn't
Barely
in another
there.
show that they wouldn't do any sort of development with them.
Well, and for me, it just like, I feel like now going forward, there could just be like spin-off. We're going to do episode 4 is, you remember that one time when Beard walked away? Well, guess what happened that night? And I'm just like, I hope they keep doing that, I guess. Because there were multiple times where they could have done it, but the night that they chose to do it, it was like after that big loss.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then the show continues, I think, for like an episode or two, and then it goes, anyway, we wanted to tell you like what Beard did that night when like Ted said, all right, you good?
It was actually right after.
It
So
was right
yeah,
after.
yeah.
It was right after.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway,
But
like,
still.
it was just cool to be like, to see him finally.
Here's a little bit of background for
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
character.
Because when he comes back in the next morning for the next episode and he says, it was kind of a chill night, you now know that doesn't mean what we think chill means, but for him, this is what chill means. And so it's just kind of cool to get into the psyche of Beard.
Yeah.
So there, my soapbox, I'm getting off of it.
No, I agree.
No, I don't want you to understand. I want this to be me. It's fine. It's fine.
I will say the three guys at the pub, I see them and I'm like, that's us.
How much fun would that be?
But
Yeah.
they're not us. Not us.
Not us
United.
United.
Anyway, thank you for listening, and we'll see you all next week.
Oh my gosh.
Because we're not united right
Yeah.
now. So they're not us.
Not us United. We're always united. But just imagine going to a pub and just being like every week, just hanging with the boys,
Yeah.
watching some footy.
Oh
If I'm also being completely honest, one of my old neighbors really reminds me of Beard. Like,
Really?
literally looks like him, but also would be that guy that I could also see, like, I just went out for a few drinks, but I also decided to just stumble upon all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And he is that guy.
Hmm.
And so for me, it was just kind of like, oh, I haven't seen you in a little bit, because we moved the year of the pandemic in 2020, and they moved like a few months before us, and so we all kind of like, one, didn't really get to say like a goodbye. And so, like, it was, like, 2019, we had, like, this blast. We were, like, best friends. Went to Gen Con together
Sick.
for board games and stuff like that. And then in 2020, we just didn't get to see them because they had their first kid, and we were trying to play it safe. And so there was never, like, a real goodbye. It was more just, like, 6 months of, like, hi, hope you guys are doing good. And then they left. And then watching Ted Lasso, I'm just like, oh, my God, devastated.
Is he still here?
No, he moved. But
Bummer.
we stay in touch every now and then. But anyway. I just want you to know, when you say that episode sucks.
No. No.
Yikes.
I'm never having an opinion again.
There you go.
I will say, since we're on Beard,
Yes.
I have an opinion about Beard and Ted Lasso together. Because I think now, having watched it a few times, I think if Beard was not in the show, Ted Lasso would not be a good coach.
I 100% agree. Well, from a logistics standpoint, yes, because Beard actually knows what's going on.
Beard knows the rules of the game
Right.
and understands the logistics.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, I think Beard makes Ted a better person.
Yes. Yeah.
Now we're getting real deep.
Yeah. I think Beard like really grounds Ted.
I think
And-
they even each other out.
Yes.
I think Beard on his own is what Nate is going to be in season 3.
Yeah.
Pure logistics, no
No heart.
inspiration, no heart.
No
yeah,
belief
no
and
heart.
belief.
No belief. Yeah.
Dang.
But with Beard knowing all that stuff, and then Ted
Yeah.
Lasso being the inspiration, like the
The
I mean,
like
basically the leader,
Yeah.
the heart of the team. He knows how to lead team. Like Ted Lasso could be in any sport as long as Beard
Fair.
was there to
Yes.
learn the sport. That's why he was so successful. I think transitioning from American
good.
football to
Mhm.
European or soccer,
Yeah.
football, and like Beard is primarily responsible for
Yeah.
that success
Mhm.
because Ted Lasso is like I can inspire people all day.
Yeah.
But I think in season 2, when they were playing the FA Cup, they had an offsides call, and Ted Lasso was like, "Can you explain to me offsides?"
Yeah.
And so Beard took him aside and had to like still explain a rule
Yeah.
of
In season
Yeah.
soccer
two.
in
That's
season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're kind of watching that like, yeah, if Beard wasn't there, Ted Lasso, and I think another thing about Ted Lasso though is he can surround himself with people
Right.
that know, that can create success because he
Mhm.
brings on like he sees the
brings the
potential
best.
in Nate kind of right off the bat,
Mm.
and then he brings on Roy Kent
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
that kind of soccer knowledge out there. And so yes, Ted Lasso can surround himself with people, but Beard is kind of that initial first person that
For
he
sure,
surrounds
for
himself
sure.
with. It's
Yeah.
like if Beard wasn't there, Ted Lasso would not be a success.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's a great point.
That was my
Yeah.
my hot take.
I like it. Clip
This is
that
an
piece.
amazing episode.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
It's the Beard episode of this podcast.
So you
Oh,
so it is your favorite
changed your
episode?
mind.
Yeah.
Classic. We got him.
Well, I think you mentioned Nate. I think we
Oh,
should talk
The
about him.
elephant in the room.
Yeah, the big
get it
Nate,
out of-
big Nate dog.
Big name.
Brings him on, sees the potential. Basically, is this towel boy, whatever you want to call it, and becomes this coach and becomes this like the team supports him, loves him, and then he makes this one call in season 2 where it's like where Ted goes and he has his second panic attack episode. And he has to leave the game, and Nate steps up and takes charge, and they win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's the Wonder Kid, and takes the. Is it Wonderkin or Wonder? I would have not called Wonder Kid out. I would have said Wonder Kid.
Wonder Kid is what Nate said. Wonderkind
Is the actual?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have said Wonder Kid. Whoops.
Very very successful for your age.
Yeah.
That's what Ryan says in The Office when he gets his
Wunderkind.
his big job. People keep calling me a Wonderkind, but sorry.
Anywho.
Hate to bring another show in.
But,
quote The Office since you hate. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Didn't even think about that when I said that.
So he gets a big head about it all.
Right.
And then we kind of see his deterioration until the end of the episode, end of the season. Hot take. What did we think of that evolution of his character, specifically from like very soft-spoken, very quiet season 1 to basically set up for villain of season 3?
You want to take this one?
I can go for a little bit.
You go first, so I don't steal your stuff.
But I also have, again, I've seen this show. I've watched it through a few times.
You're
so
the
I've kind of
expert.
picked up on a few things.
Sure.
I wouldn't say expert.
You're calling out stuff like crazy. You're just like, this happened. Yeah, you're good.
I did, my last rewatch was over the weekend.
Sure.
So, or a little bit of it was at least. I think the hard thing with Nate is now that I've watched it a few times, you can kind of see, so season 2 is when Ted Lasso goes through a lot of his anxiety, mental health stuff that has pulled his attention away from a lot of the people that he has given attention to in the past. And I think that's one of the big sticking points for Nate, having gotten a lot of, in season 1, he brought on Nate as a kit man, basically like less than nothing to the team and all the way up to a coach. And then I think at one point you had said, once like people with nothing that kind of move through the ranks, they gain stuff, and all of a sudden, it's like their ego is too fast for them, or it takes off too much for them, and or maybe you were saying that, I can't remember. Anyways, so I feel like then that thing happened where he changes the play and they win the game. And then social media starts, like you can see him on his screen scrolling through social media, just seeing all the things that people are saying about him and talking about him. And I think that's a pretty good commentary on social media too, that it can kind of change your perception of the world around you, because social media can really give you a false picture of the way things are. That was kind of pumping up his ego as well.
Or just like seeking the attention. And then when he got some kind of negative, then he lashes out.
It was awful. Yeah. So that was like the biggest teardown that he could have had, is if when he gets a negative response to something. And so I think you see that a little bit more having watched it a few times. You see that degradation, like I would call it a degradation, like into villainy almost. A little bit more clear, and you kind of see those moments, so that when you hit that point of him in the locker room with Ted Lasso, when he finally did I do something wrong? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And what a heartbreaking moment for Ted Lasso, because I think he kind of saw it a few times, but he didn't really do anything about it because he wasn't in a place to deal with it, and so it just was basically allowed to progress unchecked. And so then that big blow up happened. And I think at that point, Rupert had probably already talked to him about taking a job at West Ham, and so his ego was just to the point where it was like a balloon that was ready to pop, and he was like, nope, I'm too good for this. Like, I'm better than you. And so,
do you feel it was genuine? Do you feel it was, do you think they had this plan in season 1 and then they had it evolve, or was it a season 2 kind of thing? It was like, let's make Nate this person, and do we like the change of this character?
So I've heard that they had written all 3 seasons.
Wow.
All 3 seasons were kind of written as like the entirety arc. So this was always the plan.
Okay.
I think the interesting thing, unless you have another thought on Nate, the interesting thing moving forward is that I was talking to my wife about today, because I was like, what am I going to talk about on this podcast? Was what is season 3 going to look like for Nate? Is he going to have like a redemptive arc where something happens and then Ted Lasso is like, kind of has that Ted Lasso moment, and he's like, let's work through this, or let's kind of figure this out? Or is he just going to be the villain and just kind of become unredeemable and just be the next Rupert, because Rupert is kind of the main villain in the show, I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
To an extent, but
Yeah. What is he going to do? I think I told you this, but I think he's going to do something really bad one time. Like, I think he's going to do one real act of villainy now that he's, like, drinking the Kool-Aid.
Got the black suit.
Yeah, and then I think Ted is going to extend some sort of olive branch at a time where he doesn't even need to, like an inappropriate amount of, like, I shouldn't say inappropriate, like something will happen where, like, maybe even they win, like Nate's team. You said West Ham? Is that
yeah,
where he
I think that's the team. Yeah.
He they win, and some sort of thing happens with Ted where he just, like, treats him well and says, like, you know, like.
Do you think that's too similar to what he did with Jamie, though?
Like, nice pass.
Yeah.
Way to make the extra pass.
Way to make the extra pass.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if being similar is a bad thing when Ted is Ted.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I just think, I think narrative-wise.
Sure. I see what you're saying. I don't know. I mean, I think they've done a good job with, like, building up Nate. I think they did escalate him so fast into leadership that it wasn't necessarily that he was in a healthy spot when he first went. When he was, like, doing water and stuff, I mean, like, he knew a lot about stuff, but, like, he never thought he'd ever be seen. So I think when it finally happened, he just had no ability to, like, refrain or have any self-control. And so maybe once it finally is all on him, something will happen where he realizes that maybe he's not the Wonderkind.
Wonderkind.
But no, I think there will be redemption in the end. I don't think Ted Lasso will end with someone being the bad guy.
No,
still.
Sure.
But I could be wrong.
I don't think so either. I think there has to be some kind of redeemable arc. I don't know how, but
I agree with you. I think but how is
Yeah.
this going to happen is kind of outside of
the
what
most
I can
likely
see
story is,
happening.
I think, Nick, where it's like what you said, where it's just like, they get beat, or maybe they, I don't know if Richmond wins, and I don't know if he would take it gracefully. I think it has to be like a West Ham winning, and then the olive branch.
I think, like, Nate has to finally get truly what he wants.
Maybe he wins it all
and realizes that it's not enough still.
Maybe they're top of the Premier League, and he's like, wait, I didn't want to do this, and they're like, it's like in the final match, and like they're like olive branch.
Because if you think about, like, all the things, like, all I ever wanted was to be a coach. Well, that's not true. You wanted to be liked. And then he's like, all I ever wanted was to have an attractive girl like me. So he kisses one that he shouldn't, and she doesn't take him seriously, and neither does her boyfriend, and, like, nothing happens. So, like, everything he's done has been like, can I please just have this thing? And people are like, no. And so I think when he finally gets something, he's going to realize the emptiness of what he's getting, and then he's going to come back to Ted, and he's like, look, winning isn't everything. I have to learn that too. I'm literally like,
gotta believe.
I'm not winning at life right now. Maybe he'll get to connect on like the family thing or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
that's
what I love about this show, dude.
Could go anywhere.
And there's actually, like, good forgiveness in this show, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, seriously.
The moment in season 1 when Rebecca comes down, or, like, you know, Keely finds the picture on the phone and says, you need to tell him, and she finally comes down and talks to Ted Lasso. And you're just, I think in most shows, you're like, okay, Ted Lasso is just going to walk out, or he's going to leave, you know, and something crazy is going to happen. And he just stands up. I forgive you.
Good,
Divorce is hard, you know. And I think it maybe changed a little bit since he had just recently gone through that same stuff. But to have that, like, redemptive moment in the show was, I think the first time I watched that, I was like tearing up. This
it's
is
powerful.
Incredible.
Yeah. It's really good. I think how they handle negatives and turn it into be like, this is a positive, but like we know it's hard, like, and it's okay that this is hard, but we're going through it. To where, like, the main villain Nate is the one who's like taking the negative and just staying with the negative. and not opening up and not like anything that all the stuff that he said to Lasso and that last episode is like kind of not true. Like he built it up in his mind, and like he fooled himself.
Yeah.
To where like he thought he was this larger than life character, and he's like, I am great, but he's not. He's just another guy.
Well, and he expects people to do what he wants them to. And it's like, that's not how life works, bro. Like, that's what's beautiful about it, is like when people are genuinely nice to you, it feels great.
Yeah.
But if you're like demanding niceness, it's not going to feel good, you know? And so I'm just really excited for him to figure that out.
Yeah.
Or it'd be really sad if he doesn't, but
I think he's got to figure it out.
he'll figure it out.
Yeah.
He's Nate. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, there's two things that I needed to get across in this episode. My wife specifically said that I needed to do this. She was very emotional, and one of it was about Nate. And we are not a Nate friendly household.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very angry. I had to pause
season 1 fan.
Oh,
of
definitely.
Nate, and then a season 2 unfan.
Very different. Yeah, very much so. I knew that during the last game I had to pause because we were venting out our Nate frustrations.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So lovely.
Right after the conversation.
Oh,
not
yeah.
good. Not a good look, our boy Nate. So we are going to be very excited to watch season 3 and see how that unfolds. The second thing I need to get across through my lovely wife is we need to talk about Sam and Rebecca.
Yes.
And what we think of that.
The other elephant in the room.
Yes.
A lot of age between two dating people.
Yes.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. Aaron?
I think we talked about it
Yeah.
earlier, and I can't really remember what I said, but it was kind of like there's part of me that's like, this just doesn't seem as okay as it should be, or like it just doesn't seem okay to me. But the other half of me is like, why would it not be okay? Like they're both adults, grown. I think most of it. Okay, what's your opinion?
I'm the same way. I don't really care too much.
Nice.
What? So
There's
what?
two things.
You need to say your wife's
I need to say
opinion.
my
I
wife's
think that's the bigger one. Yeah.
My wife will say yucky, gross.
Sure.
It's just like I think to play. Oh, let me be grace for a moment. So it's too far of a gap.
Too far
Like
of a gap.
it's
Got
too
it.
far of a gap where like it's like 20 years older than Mike. She was like, he could be her kid, in a sense, and it's just like that's like
Sure.
a pretty big age gap. And then just like thinking like longevity wise, like she's like 90 years old, and she's like I don't know, in a retirement home. I don't know, and he's
Sure.
like 70 and still kicking it around with the
Yeah.
footy.
Well, to rest her mind, I don't think Ted Lasso is going to be going that long.
Oh.
So she's fine.
No, I think it's just
You don't have to think about it
I think
after
it's
season
just
3.
age
No, I
is
get
just
it.
different. It's just like it is weird because 20
yeah.
years, that's a long time.
The thing that I think redeems it, though, is that they met completely
Oh yeah, sure.
authentically.
Do you think if it wasn't so, if it was just like they kind of
but
start
that's
flirting?
the thing, like, the age gap would have probably kept them originally. Like,
Yeah.
why would you have even been considered?
Yeah.
But with this lovely, like, connection that we've
Yeah.
made, now I would actually consider it.
Yeah.
So, yes, if he was, like, 19 and she was 43, I'd
yeah,
be
but
like,
he's 21.
I was
yeah,
gonna say
21's
yeah.
fine. He can drink.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
He could also drink
Once
a
you
19
break
in the
that
UK.
20, it's all good.
Yeah.
In
I
my
think
opinion.
a lot of times too with relationships, it's about being in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very successful, has a lot of money. He is very successful, has a lot of money, and they're both kind of in the same
Sphere of
general
like, yeah.
vicinity,
Yeah.
same place in life.
Come on.
I mean, not entirely, but for quite a bit
Sure.
of it,
Right
they're in the same
context,
place.
it
Yeah,
works.
Yeah,
You know what?
Yeah, I don't really care too much.
I think.
I think it's funny. It's just, when it's revealed of like she's texting Sam.
Incredible.
It's like,
yeah.
oh, whoa.
Yeah. Now ask me again if like my daughter when she's 21. is
Yeah.
dated, and then I'll probably be like, this is the worst.
Yeah,
thing.
what
This
if
is not
it was
okay.
the role
Yeah.
reversed? Like it's a 21-year-old woman and a 45-year-old male.
Interesting. Again, like I think the way they played it off was they were so.
They had an emotional connection.
It was so. It wasn't like. I don't know, because like the picture that comes to my mind when you say that is like, oh, some dude is like not. He doesn't have the right motives to
Sure.
be going after that.
Yeah.
But if if the motives were what they were in the show, I think it shouldn't matter.
Mm-hmm. I think the context of this wholesome show, we're like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's probably fine. But I don't know.
I think it still begs the question. Yes, like should this be a thing? And in a lot of scenarios, I think it wouldn't be. But because they connected in such a unique way that actually was very good, that they both very much enjoyed, I'd almost hate to see them go like, well, sorry, our age is so different. I know we probably
This
are
connection,
in love.
yeah.
I'll just find someone who I'm 90% in love with instead.
Yeah.
That sounds crappy. So
Okay.
there you go.
I also think at the end, when they win and Sam tells the guy that he's not going, he's staying for the club, and he kind of has that monologue where he's talking to Ted, but he's talking to Rebecca, where he's like, I wish I could say I'm staying because of you, but really I'm staying because this is the best thing for me. I think that showed a lot of maturity for Sam too, to be like, this isn't about a relationship. This is about my future. And I think their relationship was new enough that maybe it's like, maybe I love you, maybe I don't, but I have to figure a lot of stuff out because he is young.
Beautiful.
Two chef's kiss from Nick.
2 chef's kisses. That's right. The show's insane, dude.
It's a great show.
There's just so many aspects.
Yeah.
And I hope you're okay with me doing this, but we're scheduling you for season 3.
Sure, yeah.
Cool.
I'd love to.
I hope that's okay too.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't even
sounds
ask you.
Spur of the moment.
Yeah.
Listen, we're co-hosts, but if I want something, it happens. You know what I mean?
This is
And
how
if
this
Michael wants
relationship
something,
works.
he asks me.
Roy Kent.
That is the Roy Kent
That's
effect.
a Roy Kent.
Right
Not
there.
a Roy Kent effect.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts of Ted Lasso?
I don't think anyone should die never seeing Ted Lasso.
Wow. Holy cow.
Okay.
That was intense.
Cool.
Anyone else?
I will not follow that up. No
It's
comments.
a great show.
Oh, I will quickly say Trent Krim of The Independent.
yeah.
Another great character.
Unsung hero.
It was just like very, especially in the last episode when he's like, or at the end of the episode before, where he's like texting Ted of like, hey, as a journalist, I'm gonna write this, but as you're like a person, I respect you. And then he like ultimately
That was a cool development
Yeah.
where he like, you know what? You may not know what you're doing, but at least you're honest about it.
Yeah.
And that almost is better than like pretending.
Yeah.
And he like gained a lot of respect for him, so that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like it.
But he doesn't know what he's doing, but also leads the team to a promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, but I
know
think
enough.
like he's still trying.
Yeah.
It's just that's what's beautiful about it. Is like, hey, I don't know all the answers, and they're like, oh, what an idiot. And it's like, no, like, I can tell you all the fake stuff if you want. I'm just being authentic. And
Right.
think
I mean,
that's
like
what's addictive about
any
him.
like sports interview is like, well, we played good as a team, and the team
Oh,
really
no
came
kidding,
together, and
yeah.
it's just like I just make sure that our offense was good and our defense was good, and then we played the team well.
That's my least favorite part about soccer is when I like. So I follow Liverpool on YouTube now. So I get all their post game press conferences, and it's just like, what do you guys think you could have done better? And it's just like, great question, journalist. Here's what I think we could have done better: score goals.
Yeah.
Can we be done? And like that's what's really fun about Jurgen Klopp, because he kind of like takes them so literal and serious that he'll be like, oh, it's interesting. This is like a really you already know the answer. We didn't play as well as the other team. And I'm just like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. It's like such a waste of time.
Yeah.
To be like, what are we even talking about?
Well,
This
that-
is insane.
that kind of leads into another section of Ted Lasso because there's a million things to talk about. But when Roy Kent becomes a
Coach,
commentator.
yeah.
commentator, and they're all talking about stuff, and Roy Kent is like, "What are you talking about?
Yeah.
They played like they were freaking scared, and
Yeah.
it was embarrassing, and
Yeah.
they
Super authentic.
just real broadcasting, and everybody was like, we love this guy. He's actually telling how it is, and I feel like we could actually use that in real life.
Yeah, that would be
That'd
nice.
be awesome.
Sports
Yeah.
is a Roy Kent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what typically happens is you just kind of get through the broadcast, and then everyone just says what they really feel on Twitter or something, and then it gets
Yeah.
some credit. It's like, okay, well, what if you just said that on like live television?
Mm-hmm.
But what a show!
Yeah, it's great. It's a great show.
So lovely, and I'm so glad I'm just talking with you guys, drinking coffee, doing this show.
Yeah. I would want nothing else.
The only thing that would make this better is some biscuits made by Ted Lasso himself.
Oh my gosh. I found a recipe online. I'm gonna make them. I'll make
Let's
them
do
for you
it.
boys.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's have a watching party where we eat biscuits.
Yes.
And
Watch season 3.
Yes. Quick score of Ted Lasso as a show out of 10.
Oh, 10.
10? Straight up 10?
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 9.
You're insane.
No question. 10 right off
Yeah.
the bat.
I can't think of anything I would change.
Okay. I don't really know if I have a scale.
Well, it's 1 to 10.
For me,
Well,
it's
luckily
like
you
don't
can
ever
watch Not Us United's rating scale.
Oh, I did already.
Oh.
I think I have maybe missed like 1 or 2 podcasts.
Wow.
And most of the time it's because it's
Incredible.
like a
Ooh,
scary movie. and
Adam,
I'm
you
not,
better watch out.
he's got competition.
He does.
I know when he came on to your podcast because I also listened to that one, which was about Planet of the Apes, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Oh, this guy.
Wow.
That he said he watched or listened to all the episodes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
Fierce competition here.
Look, I know we've been friends for a decade now, but what is it like meeting your heroes?
I mean, in this context, it's been incredible. I mean, you both know me. I was so nervous doing this.
You knew us before
yeah, but now
our fame, and so
Yeah.
I'm just glad that
It's like I'm meeting new
we haven't
people.
changed. Oh, damn it.
It's no.
wait,
I'm
wait. We're meeting the same people but different.
He's fanning.
It's like I'm like like we started this and you guys were talking right off the bat, you know,
Yeah.
when I didn't know that the podcast had started, and you just were kind of talking
how-
about
that's how
stuff.
real it
I'm
is.
like, this is amazing. This is
Okay,
like
I mean,
everything I
look,
could have dreamed of.
Yeah.
It's like watching the chocolate get made.
We, drink and breathe podcast. That's what we are. That's what we are now.
I need to know. Do you put your pants on one leg at a time though?
I do
We
both
used
legs
to.
at a time.
We
Oh,
used
sweet.
to, but
Okay, cool.
Once you
now we just
pod,
don't wear pants. Oh,
tomorrow
yeah,
you're gonna wake up.
Wait,
You don't do video podcasts yet, so
Yeah.
you don't have to wear pants yet.
That's
I was just saying tomorrow you're gonna wake up and just jump into your pants because that's
Yes.
how podcasters.
That's how.
Oh.
Yep.
Good to know.
So
Dude.
look out.
When I see you guys next with a cast over my nose, because like it's my dresser. You're like, guys, I was kidding. Whoops.
No, but seriously, this was awesome. I'm
Yeah.
glad you were able to join
Yeah.
us. And what an expert. I think
Yeah.
we truly got the best Ted Lasso.
A Ted Lasso
Oh
expert.
my gosh, I don't know about that, but
You killed it.
there's
You
so
were
much
calling
more
out
stuff.
names that I didn't even remember.
Like Ted Lasso, I don't remember.
Like
that guy.
Jamie Tart. Who's that guy? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
It was
It was a good
sublime.
sublime.
So thank you for coming on, Aaron. We look forward to season 3 of Ted Lasso.
Yes.
And you may have heard reviews of Ted Lasso. You may have not. But have they heard from us, Aaron?
Not Us United.
Yay!
Yay, good job.
He's done it.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. You've just listened to Not Us United. You can find us under Not Us United on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Please leave us a review and consider subscribing to our podcast. You can reach out for future podcast topic suggestions at notusunitedpod@gmail.com.